Hi there guys, this is a new character called Elise. What I've done, I've given her 10 strength and 10 endurance just so I can run a little bit longer and I can carry things without them weighing me down too quickly. I'm just going to finish and exit the vault. Now unfortunately, there was no lab coat in Vault 111 this time. Sometimes there is, it's kind of a random drop. So if there is a lab coat, then make sure you get that because it gives you +2 intelligence, which is going to make everything we're about to do go much more quickly. Now, we're going to do this in a couple of stages. The first stage enables us to max out our stats and get them almost double what the maximum is. So we can get our intelligence up to 20, and I think strength goes to about 16, something like that. So we're going to get our stats incredibly high. Once we've done that, then we're going to level up our character to whatever level you desire. And you can do all of this before you even talk to Codsworth. Let me just change my view. That's better. There are a few things that we need. I'm not sure if it's worth actually scrounging around here. I think everything we need will be in Sanctuary. One of the things that we need, which is quite rare, is circuitry. We need 2 circuitry. So sometimes there is a hot plate in the workshop or just knocking around in Sanctuary. So I'm really hoping that we've got a hot plate because they contain 2 circuitry, and that is very important for what we have to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is run directly to my workshop and activate it. And that's going to enable me to scrap some things. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. There's Codsworth. As I say, we don't need to talk to him, but you can if you want to. So we're coming up here to the workshop, and we're just going to click on this to activate it. Now I'm going to have a little look inside here, so I want to see if it's got a hot plate. No. Hopefully there'll just be one on the floor somewhere. So let's have a little look around. Okay, now there are various things that we need. We need some gears, which are inside typewriters, so we're going to scrap that. We're going to need some adhesive and cloth, so that's in there, so we'll scrap that. We need some, there's more gears here on this wrench, so scrap this. And if I have a nose around, we're going to scrap this. We do need some steel, obviously there's loads of that lying about. So we're going to scrap this house because we need to build something here on a flat platform. And this is a really handy place to do that. So scrap all of this. Now, there are a few things that we need from different houses. We need some rubber. So I'm going to scrap in those. I'll scrap a few more of these tyres. I'm going to scrap that tyre wall as well. And I'll scrap the jack bomb stone. Just get some of this out of the way. I like to keep things a little bit more tidy, but I don't like to take everything. We do need some ceramic, but I'll scrap this the toilet that's knocking around as opposed to those bricks. And while I think about it, we also need to go in here and get the special book. Now you want to get the special book quite quickly. We need some oil, which you can get from this. You want to get the special book quite quickly because sometimes it doesn't appear, and you don't want to go around scrapping everything and then come in here and realise the special book is not there. It doesn't really matter which one we choose. And what else can we have from in here? Let me think. Now, unfortunately, the television and the radios don't give you the circuitry that we need at this level. I think once you've upgraded some of your perks, they do when you get the scrapper bonus. But at this stage, I think you can only get circuitry from the hot plates. So if we can't find a hot plate, that's a bit of a disaster. So let me just think, what else do we need? We need gears, steel, rubber, copper. So we need copper. So we want to scrap some of these because they have fuses inside them. And there is copper inside the fuses. So I'm going to scrap a few lights. Getting copper in Sanctuary, we need ceramic, so I'm going to scrap this stuff just here. Scrap some of these tyres, and that toilet, because it just looks like a hell of a mess. It's like a council estate where I grew up. Broken toilets in people's front gardens. What else do we need? So we've got the the steel and the rubber that we need. We will have the copper once we extract it from the fuses. We need a screw, so we've got that, would have been in the desk span. A couple of circuits, and we need about 32 gears. So we've got some from those desk spans, we're going to duplicate them. Just going to scrap a few of these, make sure we've got enough steel that we need. Oh, stupid thing. Let's shoot this. A little bit overkill there. So, hot plates. I think we've probably got a bit of a problem here. It doesn't look like we've got a hot plate appeared, and I'm not sure where there's a guaranteed one. So let's just get back up here. I did actually have a look around Sanctuary before I created this save. Let's make sure I've not got one on me. I might have picked one up. Oops. Might have picked one up from inside the. Oh, I have got one. So I didn't actually start this save from the beginning. This save is from just before leaving the vault, so I already had it. So I imagine I picked that hot plate up when I was in Vault 111. So if you see one in there, make sure you do that, because you need 2 circuitry, and that's contained within here, so that's awesome. So the other thing, of course, as I mentioned, if you can find the lab coat, sometimes it appears, sometimes it doesn't, then grab that. It didn't appear for me, which is a little bit of a bitch. So now that we've got the things that we need, we want to take out of here anything that has gears, also anything that's got copper, and screws and circuitry. So the desk fan, that's got gears, and it's also got the screws that we need. The fuses have got copper. The gears are gears, and I don't think we need any more of those. I'll duplicate the screws, and I need 86 steel, so I've got more than I need there, so I'm going to leave that as it is. Now I'm going to drop these things on the floor, and I'm going to scrap them. I'm just going to drop everything and scrap everything that I've got on the floor. And the things that are already scrapped that are on the floor, I'm going to duplicate them so that I can get twice as much. I mean, the fuses, I'm just going to scrap these for now. I could duplicate them as I'm scrapping them, but I think it's a little bit quicker if I just scrap. These gears, I will duplicate these. When you duplicate things, what you're doing is you're essentially scrapping it and storing it. I need those out of the hot plate, so I'm going to actually, oops, messed that up. I'm going to actually duplicate this hot plate, so I'm going to scrap it, and then I'm going to store it. Now, if you don't know how to do this duplication glitch, I do have another video on my channel that shows you the view of the controller. So it's a very, very, oops, it shows you very clearly how you scrap and store stuff at the same time so that you duplicate it. But I'll basically explain it to you, but if you have trouble replicating this, then do go to my other video that says duplication glitch controller view. Now the glitch, I'm showing this on an Xbox, but the glitch works exactly the same on the PlayStation. It's just different button presses. Now, what's going on for a minute there? It's just different button presses, but what I'm essentially doing, I'm putting my finger on the scrap button, which for me on Xbox is X. I believe it's square on a PlayStation. I'm holding that down, so I've got that held down now. Now I'm going to slide across to the B button, which is store, and when I get to the B button, I'm going to keep the B button held down, like that. Oops, I did that a bit too fast. Let me do it again. So X, slide over to B, and again. Oops. There we go. So I'm now holding down B, and both of these menus are up. And keeping B held down, I'm going to press A twice, like that. Now I do that by sliding my thumb across. I know a lot of people find that a little bit difficult, so you can also do it by kind of walking your fingers over. And I show both of those techniques on the video that shows the controller view. Keep pressing the wrong button. Please do bear with me. Okay, so I need more gears, so I'm going to take the adjustable wrench again. I need, what are we? So 32 gears. Steel, I need 86, so I've got enough for that. Rubber, I have enough. So I need 4 copper. I'm going to duplicate the copper again. How how am I doing on my gears? Okay, I've got 10 gears, so I'm going to duplicate those a couple of times as well. The circuitry, I've got 2, but I need 2, so I'm going to get that hot plate out because there's 2 safe in there, and I'm going to duplicate. Oops, didn't need the hubcap. I'm going to duplicate the hot plate again, just so when I use them, I've still got plenty available for if I need them in the future. I don't want to have to go hunting for them because they're actually quite rare. So I'm going to scrap this to get that extra gear out. I'm also going to scrap this copper. Now you'll notice that it's dropped into lots of piles. If there's over 8 items dropped into different piles, you can pick them up, drop them again, and they all merge together into one. Which really, I didn't duplicate that gear, and that was the big pile. That's very annoying, so I'm now going to have to do that again. So yeah, they'll all merge into one, which is much easier. But when there's less than 8, that won't work. So I'm going to do the adjustable wrench again to get that gear. The circuitry is now on 4. That's fine. I'll leave that as it is. Now I've got 9 copper, so this time, fortunately, they're going to drop in just 1 unit. In fact, I only need 4 copper, so there's no need to duplicate those. The desk fan I'll take again and get the extra gears out. Oh, I've got 14 gears, so that's going to drop in 1 pile. So steel fine, rubber fine, copper, ceramic, screw, circuitry. All I need now is to duplicate the gears. So I'm just going to drop the gears. Now they're going to drop in a few stacks. Just immediately pick them back up and then drop them again. And they'll be as 1. So now I'm going to duplicate this to get 28. And I'm just going to do this until I've got over 32 gears, so I just need to do it 1 more time. So let's get those out again. And drop them on the floor. Now there's only 2, so there's no need in picking them up. It's just as easy to do this twice. Okay, so now I've got enough components for the first part of the build. So pop over here, and I should have mentioned earlier, you need the expansions to do this because you've got to build conveyor belts. So we're going to be building in the power section, oops, that's lights, isn't it? In the power manufacturing section, we want to build first of all, and you do want to do it in this order, the vacuum, this one here, the conveyor storage, and you want to put it about there. So that comes first. The next thing you want to build is in this section, and these are the right-hand turns, so this one. And you want to put that on here, and another one of those there. Now we want the straight section that has the power. Oops, get that to lock in. Next to this you want the straight section which has no power. Then back to 2 more right turns. Like that. And last of all, you need the vacuum hopper. Now the reason you want to do it in this order is because you need the vacuum hopper to glitch into the storage like this. And if you don't do it in this direction, like this, it tends to be quite awkward to get that to click into place. Next, we need 2 of the small generators. So you want to put 2 of these up. I don't know why I'm doing this so carefully. Now we want to connect that one to this one. I want to connect this one to here. Don't connect anything to the actual vacuum hopper. Now the reason for this is if I turn this one off, there's not enough. Let me just show you. At the moment everything is working. If I turn just one of them off, that knocks the actual power down to 3, which is not enough to power the vacuum hopper, but it is enough to power everything else. So it's important that it goes to the other stuff first. So for now, we're going to leave that one off so the vacuum hopper isn't working. Now we're going to come over here, and what we're going to do is pop this is easier in first person view. We're going to put the Your Special book on the conveyor belt. So let's go into our inventory. It's in MISC, isn't it? Yeah. And drop that. How did it go? Oh no, I just pressed the wrong button. So we want to drop this onto the conveyor and then turn around, put the cursor about here, and pick it up as it goes in. Now, if I hover, I want you to see this, if I hover just inside the conveyor storage, you'll see it says conveyor storage. So that's the place you want to be, and when the book travels underneath your cursor, it will change from conveyor storage to your special. At that point, you leave it for a fraction of a second, then you pick it up. So, I need to take it out. So, unless I've got two, no, I haven't. I'm just going to drop this bobby pin on the floor, so I don't have to keep, you know, scrolling down. So, drop it. I keep pressing the wrong button again. So drop it, immediately turn around, get your cursor ready, and when it changes to your special on the green text on the screen, that's when you pick it up, before it goes into the conveyor. Now you probably noticed there, up in the top corner, it said your special removed. That means I was close, but I wasn't in exactly the right moment, so it actually took it off me. So let's try again, and when it does that, I think you're a little bit too late. All right, exactly the same again. Your special removed, close, but not the right moment, so a tiny bit earlier. That time I was too early because it didn't make it into the conveyor storage. And again, too early that time. So, I mean, if you're too early, you get it, but the storage doesn't. If you're too late, the storage gets it, but you don't. And when you're just off, I'm not sure if it's just a little bit early, I think it is, you get that message that you just saw then. So that was close, but not exact. So I think I'm a tiny, tiny bit late on those ones. I think that might have been it. So let's have a look. Yes, I've now got two. So when you've got two or more, it's a good idea to just pop over here and drop them. And then prepare yourself. And they're going to come on, usually on this side. So as they come by, just get ready and pick them up just before they go in. Oh, that was terrible. I'm just going to drop them both here. I'm not sure if I got one then or not. No. Now what's going to happen in a moment is one of these books is going to give me, I've got three now. So being as I've got three, I'm just going to pop over here just to make things a little bit easier for me. Drop that one, and then I'm going to escape. Drop that one, escape. Drop that one, and escape. Just to give them a bit of a space. I'm going to stand here and just wait for them with my cursor on the conveyor storage. As soon as it changes to your special book, I'll wait a fraction of the second, then I'll pick it up. So let's have a look. So I've now got 4. So that worked. Because I've got 4, again, to make things easier for me, I'm going to pop over here and drop them like that. Get ready over here. Oh no, that's not my gun, is it? Oops. Now I know it's very, very tempting. Has one of them got stuck? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to transfer, I'm just going over to my inventory. I'm going to transfer this one in, and there's 4 in there now, and I'm going to turn on this. Let me put my gun away. I hate it when the gun comes out. Just to make them go round a little bit easier. And what I'm also just going to do very, very quickly is transfer all of my other stuff into here. So I'll store all my junk in there. Glasses, no perception. So I was hoping they were. So everything I'm going to store in there and just keep these little things on me. Anyway. So, they're on their way round, and all I'm going to do now is just stay here with my cursor inside the conveyor storage. So it stays conveyor storage on the screen, light off. And when they come by, just before they go in, I pick them up. Now, I am not watching the book. And this is important. Oh, I missed them all. I'm not watching the book. What I'm watching is the writing on the screen saying conveyor storage. And when it changes to your special, a split second, then pick them up. It's much, much easier to do it that way. And you tend to get the duplicates much more quickly. So when they come by, what happened then is I was too late on all of them because they all made it into the storage, but I didn't get any of them. When I checked on my Pip-Boy, I didn't have any. So this time I'm going to do a tiny bit earlier. Now you saw on that second one there that I was actually, let's transfer the ones I got, I was actually too early on one of those because you saw that I got it, but it didn't appear in the conveyor storage. So sometimes I'm too early, sometimes I'm too late. Now, you can make adjustments. I find that moving your cursor either further in to the conveyor storage or taking it out a little bit seems to make it easier. So I'm going to try with my cursor a little bit further inside the conveyor storage, about there. And as soon as it says you're special, I'm going to pick it up straight away, like that. So 2, 3, and 4. Now, I got an extra one then, because all 4 of them went into the conveyor, and I ended up with one on me at the end. So I duplicated one of those. The others were, you saw at the corner, it said your special book removed. So that one was close, but not exact. So I'm going to keep the cursor. I'm going to move it in a tiny, tiny little bit more, like that. And again, as soon as it says your special, I'm going to snatch it as quickly as I can. So we saw both of those made it into the conveyor. So that one didn't. And that one didn't. So if I've got any more than 2, I only had 2. So that timing was off. So let's try moving it out a little bit. I'm going to try about on the threshold. So if you imagine an imaginary line between that runs across the threshold, that's what I'm going to try. Actually, I'm a little tiny bit closer, I think. So here. That was close, but I know that one didn't work because it said your special removed. That one was too late. That one was too late. Let's pop those back in. Let's move out a tiny bit. That one was close, but again, not exact because it says your special removed. Too early. Too early. So if I'm getting them, but the conveyor storage doesn't get them, it's too early. Now, at the moment, we're having to wait a while for these 4 books to go round. But once you've duplicated a few of them, then you end up with a steady stream. So it's a lot easier to do it this way, I think, than it is to actually put them down and spin around and stuff like that. So we saw every single one of those got into the conveyor, and I managed to duplicate 2 of them. So we now have 6 going around the system. So this looks like a good place. That one got in. That one didn't. So I should have 1 on me, unless I've got a duplication. I've got 1. So the first one was too late, the second one was too early. So you do have to wait a fraction of a second when it changes from conveyor storage to your special, and you kind of just get the hang of it. So that one was really close. We got the message up, so I will not have any on me at the moment. So all those made it in, and I got 1 of them. So I duplicated 1 book on that time round. That made it in. Did I get it as well? Yeah, I did. So I just duplicated another 1. That one, no, I was too late. So did I get that? No, I didn't. So a tiny bit too late. So a little bit earlier. Okay, that was too early. I know I took one. Oh, I didn't get any duplicates from that. So most of those are too late, so I'm going to just move the cursor out a tiny bit. Okay, that was too early. Let's go in a little bit. Do I have any? Oh, yes, I do. Let's go in a tiny bit more. I know one of those didn't make it into the conveyor, so if I've got only one, I missed the duplication. I got two, so I did duplicate one on that time round. Now the way these books work, when you duplicate one, the first time you pick it up it does nothing. The second time you pick it up it's very likely to give you the extra special point. But sometimes you need to drop it and pick it up 3 times. So when they're going around this conveyor system, obviously that happens. You're dropping them and picking them up over and over and over again. So eventually, every one that's been duplicated will come round. I mean, you need to make sure that you're constantly putting the one duplicate back in, so you get a steady stream going round. But, I mean, when you're doing this, that one's obviously been round at least twice, because it's given me the special points. So, I mean, you don't have to drop them and pick them up if they're going around this system and you keep putting them back into the conveyor storage because that's happening naturally. But once you've duplicated quite a lot and you have a steady stream of them going around, what you want to do then is you'll notice as you keep duplicating them, what's in the conveyor storage at all times will start to increase. And I think when you get up to about 15 of them that are inside the conveyor storage, and the rest of them are all going round, so you've got an endless stream of them, what you want to do at that stage is take out the conveyor storage ones, drop them all on the floor, pick them up, drop them again, pick them up, drop them again, and do that 3 times to make sure that you have every special point from all of those books, and then leave those aside, like leave them on the floor or wherever, because they're not going to give you any more points. I mean, they would duplicate, so you could make new books from them, but when you've got an endless stream of them going round this loop anyway, there's no point in adding additional ones that are not going to give you any additional points. So as I say, make sure you keep putting them back in. Now obviously the vacuum hopper takes them out one at a time, so you want to keep putting them in all the time, making sure that any on you go back in, so that there are no gaps. Now sometimes you accidentally do it way too late or way too early and you end up taking them all out of the vacuum storage. So if you do that, just whack them straight back in. So you can see now we're starting to get to a point where we have no gaps and we have permanently a few in the actual storage itself. So it seems like we're now at a good spot to duplicate them. If I've got any, if I've got some, this has gone really well because I got 6 and all of them made it into the conveyor. So that was 6 duplicates from that. Awesome. So now I've got 12 in there and we've got a steady stream going around. So we're getting pretty good now. In fact, rather than taking them all out and doing what I've just explained, I'm going to stay here for a while because I seem to be in a really good sweet spot. I'm going to stay here for now. You can say, oh, I've just accidentally taken them all out. So you want to immediately make sure you put them all back in. Otherwise, you end up with a gap going around. And I'm just doing it again. So yeah, if you take them out, just immediately put them all back in again. When we've completed this and we have chosen all of the your special stats, what happens next? You pick up a book and it says pick an attribute, do nothing. When we get to that stage, what we need to do is penalise our character by reducing our stats with penalties, which I'll show you how to do that. And then once you've got some penalties on your character, you can then duplicate some more books and get back up to maximum stats again. It allows you to go to 10 on all of your stats. But there's a little bit of a glitch in the game where if you are, oops, didn't need to do that at all. That means I'm going to be naked now and have no wedding ring. Let's get dressed. So my apparel, pop these things back on. There we go. There we go. So it's kind of a glitch. And what happens is, if you penalise your character so that you have a minus amount on any of your attributes, you can then use the your special books to get more special points to get it back up to 10 again. So you can always get it to a maximum of 10, and then when you remove that penalty, it actually goes higher than 10, which is awesome. So that is how you manage to get your stats higher than maximum. So you're getting very close now to where... Okay, I think I've already got 3 on luck anyway when I chose my attribute in the vault. So we should only need probably about 5 more. See, I've got 30 in there now, and almost no gaps actually going around. In fact, if I do have a gap, it's from when I accidentally took them out of the conveyor storage and momentarily had none coming out through the hopper. So that's why it's so important that if you accidentally take them all out, make sure that you put them back in again, because obviously if there's a gap, you have to wait. Now this duplication glitch, doing this, it kind of works exactly the same way as the dog meat one, but as you can see, it's much, much easier and much more reliable. I've never been able to do the dog meat glitch. I had such a problem with that. It works on, obviously, books. It also works on any armour, kind of like the Minuteman General costume. Also the, also works on like the Silver Shroud costume, stuff like that. So yeah, it works on armour, which is really useful. It also works on unique weapons, even if you've modded them. So you can mod, there we go, pick attribute, do nothing, so I'm at max. If you've modded a weapon, then you do this with it, it duplicates it, even the unique ones. So that's great for giving those to your settlers or to your companions and the armour as well. Now what we need to do is we need to go and sit down for a while. In fact, I'm going to make a chair. The reason I'm doing this is because when I stand up, I'm going to be walking really slowly and it'll be annoying. Just make a nice bench to sit on. So what you need to do now is, let's escape out of this. Okay, what you need to do now, very important, you go into your settings, go to gameplay and change your difficulty to survival. Then just press back and back again, and it's going to tell you survival is hard. You say yes. Now that you're in survival mode, you just absolutely make sure that you are in survival mode first of all. So you just go into your settings, gameplay again, just to check, make sure. Beautiful. Now you want to sit down on the bench. Oops. And you want to do this for a minimum of 5 days. I think it might be longer. You might have to do it for longer than 5 days. We'll do 6, just in case. And this is going to give us the maximum penalty that we can have on our character. So our stats are going to go back down. At the moment, they're all at 10. They're going to go back down. Intelligence goes down to 0. I think strength goes down to about 6, something like that. Then what we're going to do is go and duplicate some more your special books, or pick up the ones that are already duplicated that we might not have got our points from yet. And that's going to enable us to increase our statistics back up to 10. Then we're going to remove this penalty that we've currently got by being in survival mode. Now, if you want to play in survival mode, then to remove the penalty, you need to sleep and eat something. If you don't want to play in survival mode, then just go out of survival mode, sleep for an hour, and your character will be back up to normal. Now, if you want to play in survival mode, you cannot change back down. Once you change out of survival, you can't go back up again. So you can't go in survival, back down to very hard, and back up to survival. It doesn't let you do that. So at this stage, you need to get into survival to get those extra stats. If you want to play in survival, then everything else that we're going to do, you need to leave your character in survival mode. So I'm not sure, was that 4? I'm going to do a couple more, just to be absolutely sure. My coffee is cold. I'm going to start the next one and then just go and refill my coffee. So just start this one. I'll be back in a moment. Just going to grab a fresh coffee. Okay, so I think that was 5. I'm just going to do one more for good measure. There we go. And I really hope that when I when I get off the bench from this one, it's going to be a nice sunny day. So I hate it when it rains and you have the radiation storms and all that stuff. So I should really create some fireworks so I can have whatever weather I like. But I'm not going to bother with that, and it doesn't look like it's going to be a nice day. So, now that's done, you'll realise that when you stand up, you can barely walk. Now, if your character can walk at normal speed, you've not done enough. What I should have done, before you do what I've just done there, what you should have done, really, is deactivate this so they all gathered up in here. In fact, no. For now, I'm just going to take all of those. So we've still got a complete stream of them going round. And I'm going to drop all the ones I've just taken out on the floor. Oops, there we go. So I'll drop these 40 on the floor. And I'm going to pick them up and drop them again. And I'm going to do that 3 times to make sure I exhaust all of the points out of these. Now, they might only work the first time. We don't know, but we'll see. But I thought you only had to do this twice. But the last time I did this, I just for an experiment tried dropping them 3 times to see whether or not any of them would give me another point. And one of them did. So it's important just to make sure you absolutely get them all. Now, once I've made sure I've exhausted all the points out of these, it looks like I have already. Okay, I really don't think they're going to give me any more points, but I'll just try one more time just to be sure. Once you've exhausted all the points out of these books, just leave them on the floor, because we've got a steady stream of them going into the conveyor belt anyway, and we're not going to get any more points from these books. So although they would duplicate, we've got enough to continuously duplicate. So we don't need any of those, so we'll just leave them all there. And we're going to come over here and carry on as we was before. That was too late. In the right place, about there. So I want to make sure I am putting these back in. Got 4, that was good. Got a good couple of duplications there, so that's nice. So we've already got up to another 4 or 5 duplications just from this, these few seconds of being stood here doing these ones. Now the reason I do this way, rather than penalising myself right at the beginning, is because this penalty where the screen keeps going dark and you walk really slow, it's just annoying. So I'd much rather max out as much as I can with my character running around nice and quickly, and then when I've completely maxed all my stats to 10, then I do this, because then I don't have to suffer with the penalties quite so much. Your character will not die, your health stays really low, and you can hear your heartbeat and you walk really slowly, but you don't die, so you don't have to worry about that. And what I'm going to do once I've done this, when I've got all of my stats back up to 10 again, just to make absolutely sure that they are maximum, I will sit on the bench for another couple of days to see if we can get any more penalty. I'm pretty sure we won't be able to, but it's certainly worth checking. Then we'll remove the penalties. Oh, I've taken them out. Then we'll remove the penalties to get back to over maximum stats. And once we've done that, we will then start leveling up our character. Now, the reason you want to do it this way is it means that all of your attributes across the top of the special chart are completely filled. So you don't have to spend any of your points when you level up on that part of the attribute points. It also means that you have very, very high intelligence, which means everything that you do gives you more XP. And the more XP you have, the quicker you level up. So it makes leveling up a lot faster than it would otherwise be. So if you do this way first, you can then level up incredibly quickly and get your character up to over maximum stats and whatever level you decide, so you can go as high as you like. And I'm just going to do mine, I don't know, maybe level 30 or 40, something like that. I mean, you can go as high as you want. You can level up until you have maxed out all of your perks. That's a good place to stop. But, I mean, for the purposes of this video, I'll show you so far and then you just continue doing the same thing. It doesn't take very long. It goes actually quite quickly because your intelligence is so high. When your intelligence is high, obviously you're getting more XP. Now, as we start to level up, there are some perks that we can choose that are going to give us even more intelligence. The Night Person, that will give us +2 intelligence, and then at the second level it'll give us +3. So that's a really good one, but only during the hours of the night. And the Idiot Savant is going to give us some random, I think it's 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, something like that, 3 or 5, I can't remember. But that's random, so at any point you can just get some extra XP from that as well. I think I'm slightly off. Let's try a little bit earlier. Okay, this is feeling a bit better. Okay, so I imagine we've not got very far to go now. Now, while you're doing this, what I would also recommend is you do, I was going to say do a save while you're in survival mode, in case you want to come back to survival mode, but I'm not sure you can. You can't do a quick save in survival mode, so you have to sleep to get one of those, and I'm not sure if you then lower down out of survival, you can load that previous save where you slept in survival or whether it overrides it. I'm not sure about that actually. In fact, I've never tried to load a survival save that I've changed back down from survival, so I'm not sure how that works. I've taken them all out. when I play on survival, I've got a couple of plays for on survival. One of them, I did this and got up to high stats first of all, before I started. The other one is completely vanilla. I played the game as intended, but I did add 2 mods. And I really recommend these mods if you're playing in survival because, I mean, they're immersive, they actually make the game more realistic and they're very helpful for survival mode. The first one I use is the headshots. So when you shoot somebody in the head, it kills them instantly. And if they shoot you in the head, it kills you instantly as well. And I think that's fair because in real life, if you're taking a bullet to the head, you're going to die. So it makes it more dangerous for you, but it also makes it a lot easier for you to kill your enemies. And to me, that's a lot more realistic. If I shoot someone in the head, I don't want them to just absorb bullets like a sponge. Now, the particular mod I was using, some creatures, like a Deathclaw or the robots, they can take lots of shots to the head, which I think is realistic. But a person, they can't. One shot to the head of a raider and they're going to die. So I like that. I think that's a realistic mod. The other mod that I always use in survival mode is the campsite, the tent, where you can put a sleeping bag down and you can sleep and then that will save. Now the reason for that is in real life, I can put a little tent anywhere and I can sleep in a sleeping bag to revive myself, and obviously that's how you save in survival mode. So, I mean, if I'm walking all the way across the map, I can make a camp and I can save. I don't have to have something suddenly pop out on me unexpected, kill me, and then have to walk all the way across the map again. That just makes survival mode, just removes the fun factor. So I always use those 2 mods on survival. I have got a save on survival where there's no cheating at all. And I also have a save on survival, as I say, where I did this. Both of them are a lot of fun. And what I'm also going to say about doing this stuff, what I do more than anything else is I play the game as intended, but I duplicate things like concrete and glass and steel and all the stuff that you need to build your settlement buildings. And then I build massive settlements because I love building settlements. That's kind of like one of my favourite parts of the game. But I don't really like having to scavenge a load of glass just so I can build a building that's got windows. So I do the duplication glitch more than for any reason for that. Now, always on videos where you talk about hacks and glitches and dupes and things, you're going to get someone who comments saying, "Oh, you're a loser for cheating, you're spoiling the game, you're making it no fun." And if you're one of those people that believes that, then I would like to say to you that the first time I played Fallout 4 was completely vanilla. No mods, no cheating, no duping, nothing. And I completed it all the way through, and then I played it again with mods, then I played it again by duplicating things like the ingredients for ammunition, so I had unlimited ammo. I played it duplicating caps, so I had unlimited caps. I played it doing this, so that I have maximum stats from the beginning and the highest level from the beginning. I've played this game for goodness knows how many hours. I think if I checked how many hours I've actually played for it, it'd be embarrassing. I've played lots and lots of playthroughs, and some of them I've cheated, some of them I've used mods, some of them I've played as intended. Sometimes I use mods and cheats to make the game, in my opinion, more realistic. Now, I paid the same amount of money for the game as you did, if you're one of those people, and I got a lot of enjoyment out of it playing it vanilla. And then I got a lot more enjoyment out of it by playing it in lots of different ways. One of the things that I love doing, and I should make some videos on this as well, duplicating all the necessary stuff that I need so that I can build like elaborate mazes and traps and things like that. So I love doing that. Capturing some gunners and then opening the trap and forcing them into a maze that is a trap in itself. I like doing that. Another thing that I've not really played with at all yet, but I'd really like to, is all the ball track stuff. Now, if I'm playing with the ball tracks, I'm not interested in going and scavenging all of the stuff that I need so I can build some elaborate contraption to set off fireworks. Now, I just want to build the contraption and have fun with it. So I am definitely going to use the duplication glitch to be creating, a ball track or a maze or some traps or any of those other things. So for those people that think that cheating ruins the game, just broaden your perception a little and think about the possibility of enjoying the game as intended and then using mods, cheats, dupes, glitches, whatever you want to call them, to enjoy the game in other ways. I'm not doing very well here, am I? I must have a cursor in the wrong place because I haven't duplicated anything for ages. Okay, I think that's slightly better. Oh crikey, I've got a lot on me. Didn't realise that. So I need to focus on doing this at the right time because it's now starting to take a little bit long. It shouldn't take this long. So if I'd have been a little bit more focused, then I think I would have finished it by now. But isn't this lovely? Isn't this so much easier than the dog meat thing? The idea of putting this conveyor belt around in a circle with the vacuum hopper, that's my own. It's something I came up with myself. I've seen a couple of people copying it on YouTube. I don't mind at all, and I don't mind if they don't give me credit for it. Or maybe they have the idea too. It's more than one person can have the same idea, so I'm not claiming that I am the only person that's ever thought of this, but it makes it way, way easier. It makes it way easier than what we were doing at the very beginning, turning rounds. At the beginning, I do just spin round because it obviously takes a long time for the first few books to come around. But once you've got 4, then just drop them on the other side of the conveyor one at a time so that they get spread out, and then those 4 come past you just like this. And it's much, much easier then to grab them and get duplications from them. And the beautiful thing about being in the same place and not moving as well is, you can see if you grab it too early. If you grab it too early, you get one, but the conveyor doesn't. And if you grab it too late, the conveyor gets one, but you don't. So it's very easy to see if you're too early or too late and then adjust accordingly. So when you adjust, either stay exactly where you are and leave it a fraction of a second later or a fraction of a second faster, or the other option is to move your cursor slightly further into the conveyor, so you're picking them up slightly later, or to move it slightly further out of the conveyor. I think that option is easier because if you're hitting the button to grab the book, as soon as it changes to your special every single time, then if you adjust to the point where that works, then you know you're going to hit every single one. So, oh, I hate it when I miss it like that and the gun comes out. So yeah, you want to keep the cursor in the place where you know it works, and then just grab the book as soon as it goes in. And if you get one and the conveyor gets one, perfect, you're in the right place. And when that happens, you're going to level up. You're going to duplicate them really, really fast. Now, as I say, you can use this for weapons and armour as well. You can use it for all the other magazines. I'm not sure that they actually help you when you do that. I haven't really experimented with that. I don't think they do. Wouldn't it be awesome if the one that makes you swim faster, if duplicating that made you swim faster and faster and faster every single time? So I'm absolutely certain it doesn't. But if that worked, it's swimming like a speedboat. That would be so cool, especially when you're in survival mode. Because sometimes in survival mode, when you need to get somewhere really far away, it's much, much better to just swim there, where you know nothing's going to attack you, than it is to actually walk there. So if you were swimming, super fast speed, that's not really law friendly, is it? So swimming like a speedboat, but it would be handy. It'd be handy if you could switch it on and off. Oops. Now for all those people that have got the PC version, and I know you're going to leave comments saying tidal commands and all that stuff, we can't do that on Xboxes and PlayStations. We have to do stuff like this. We can't cheat in that way. Also, what's worth bearing in mind is when we're doing this, we're not using mods, and we are not doing anything that affects your trophies or your achievements. So do this in survival mode, and then max out those achievements and trophies much more easily than you normally would do. And also, you can duplicate anything really in the game. Some stuff you duplicate using the glitch I've shown you, like things that you use for building or anything like that. Other stuff you duplicate like this. The only exception to those are caps and bullets. And there's a really, really easy way that you can duplicate caps and bullets, which I show you on my channel. If you want to duplicate caps, then the easiest way to do it is to become a trader and build a trading stall, and then use the duplication glitch to scrap and store the market stall that you've built. And every time you do that, you get half of the value of the store back in your workshop, so the caps go into your workshop, and you also get the actual store itself. So the next time you build it, you don't have to pay. So you can build it for nothing, then you scrap it again, you get half of the money back. So then you've got all of your money back, and then from that point onwards, every time you build it and scrap it, you're getting free caps. Now there is a video on my channel that shows you how to do that. It's really, really, really easy. There's, I don't think I've uploaded a video that shows you how to duplicate ammo. Oops. But the way you do it, very simply, you just duplicate the ingredients for ammo instead. And then you just build an ammunition factory, and you just create the ammo in the normal way. Now what I normally do, if I'm not cheating, I have a huge factory set up in Sanctuary, and as soon as I arrive home, I dump all of my stuff into the factory, and a vacuum hopper takes everything out, it sorts it, and it processes all of the junk. I'm going to drop these ones and see if there's any duplications in them. Do it over here. So it actually sorts out all the junk, and then it makes the ammo that I set it to make, and it puts all of the rest of the junk in a conveyor storage for me. So that's kind of what I do if I want to make ammo. Oh, I hate it when the junk comes out. I do that if I want to make ammo, but I don't want to actually duplicate ammo and cheat. So that's what I do. And you get a lot of ammo doing that. In fact, sometimes you can get enough ammo doing that you can use it instead of using money. Oh, wow. So I had more than enough. So let's take a little look at our stats. Right, pop over to my stats. You'll see they're all on 10. Now what I'm going to do, just to be doubly sure, if I'm going to sit on the bench for a couple of days. I really don't think this is going to do anything, but I just want to make absolutely sure that I can't get any more penalty. Now, I did a different video about this, and I was wondering whether or not you could get additional penalties by being drunk or taking drugs when you're at this stage of the game. Now, someone commented telling me that you can't. So the reason that I'm taking this person's word for it is it's the person that originally gave me the idea for lowering the stats before you level up your character. So I think that guy's name was the Phoenixon, something like that. I've given him credit on another video, and I would give credit and put a link to his channel on this video, but I popped over to his channel, and he doesn't actually have any videos at all. So I would have liked to have sent in some subscribers and give him credit for that suggestion, but the guy isn't actually uploading any videos, so I don't feel quite so bad that I haven't done that. But on a previous video that I made, which talks again about this idea of giving yourself a penalty in order to max out your stats, I did give him credit in that situation. So when this one is done, we're just going to quickly check our stats to make sure that we are as high as we possibly can be. So they should all still be at 10. Yes, they are. So that's as high as we can get. What we need to do now is to go and lie down. So rather than walking over there, because I'm walking so slowly it's ridiculous, I'm going to make a bed. Oh, that was good. So I'm going to build this. Oops. And I'm going to get myself out of survival mode. I'm going to go down to very hard. Obviously you don't have to do this bit if you want to play in survival mode. So down to very hard and press back and back again. It's going to save, and it's going to give me a warning saying I cannot go back into survival mode. So I'm going to say yes, that's fine. And I'm just going to doubly check, because I have had a situation before where it didn't change the mode. So I just always double check to make sure. So now I've come out of survival. If I sleep, even just for 1 hour, 11 PM, lovely. So if I sleep for an hour, I'm now going to be fully restored and rested. Now if I look in my Pip-Boy, you'll see that I've got overmax stats. So I've got strength 16, perception 17, etc., etc., etc. So endurance and intelligence will be 20. Now, our intelligence, if I'd got the lab coat, I'd have a +2 on that. And I think there's a couple of other items as well, maybe a hat or some glasses that also give you intelligence. If you can get those, that's awesome. Our goal is to have the intelligence as high as possible. So I'm just going to quickly sleep again, just for 7 hours, just so it's morning, so it's not dark. Oh, I forgot to drink my coffee. It's just on the edge. It's very strong. So, now that it's daytime, the next stage of the process is to duplicate. I'm going to take everything out of my workshop, so take all, and I'm going to put it in this box here, apart from the stuff that I need. So I need adhesive, I don't need that, or that. The things that I need are adhesive, cloth, glass, and what's the other one? Oil. So everything else I'm going to put into here. Fiberglass gears. So adhesive, cloth, glass, and and oil. I'll pop those in there as well. So they're the only things that I actually need. So now I need to duplicate these. So just like before, I'm going to drop them on the floor. My junk. Drop. It's a shame that I've only got one adhesive, so that's going to take quite a while to duplicate. I should have got more of that when I was making things. So it doesn't take long though, so it doubles up very, very quickly. When it does that little jump, it's because, it's because I caught the Y button. Now the reason I wanted to store that stuff over there is because now I can just keep saying take all, and I've got just those 4 items, which is much quicker for me. So drop all those. I'm not going to bother picking them up and dropping them again just yet, because it's only really the glass that's going to move into one stack. And there's only 2 of those, so it's quicker to just do this. Oops. Now you need more oil than anything else, so it's a shame that that's the thing. Oh no, the oil wasn't too bad, it was the adhesive, wasn't it? That was the one. So take all and drop them on the floor. This time I am going to pick them up because 3 of them will be, I shouldn't have picked up the adhesive because that's not going to stack. But the rest of them, when I drop them again, they're going to drop into one stack, which makes things much easier for me. Unfortunately, the adhesive, because they're lower than 8, is still going to be in a couple of stacks. But as long as I duplicate all 4 of these, which is looking good so far, then I'm going to get 8 of them, and the next time it's going to drop in one stack for me. Then things start to go a lot more quickly. Okay. So this time I'm going to pick up the adhesive and drop it again. In fact, I'll pick up everything and drop it again just because I'm already thumping the button. So now they're all in one stack, we'll start duplicating much more quickly. Oh, damn. I'd actually duplicated it, done the scrap part by just catching the button by mistake, and then I said no to the store, so I stopped the duplication. All I did is put it in. And that was the adhesive as well, which is the one we're low on. So that was a shame. So move this cigarette out of the way. If I scrap it, what does it give me? Is it cloth? I think it is. Oh, whoops, didn't need to do that. That give me? Yeah, it's cloth, so it would just be added to my thing, so that's good. Okay, that's much better now because we have some reasonably sizable stacks of everything. There we go. As I've said before, this glitch that I'm doing here, the duplication glitch, it's much easier for you to watch my other video that shows you. Oh, it's so annoying when the gun comes out all the time. It's much easier if you watch my other video that shows you exactly how to do this glitch from the controller view than it is to do it from me explaining it to you. So if you have any trouble at all doing this, pop over to my channel. While you're there, be sure to subscribe and check out the controller view version of this. It's just this glitch, it's not all the rest of the video, just this part. And it shows you really clearly how to do this. And I show you two different ways to do it. I do what I call the thumb slide, so I've got quite a big thumb, and I find it easy to do that, and it's much quicker for me. I know a lot of people really struggle with the thumb slide version, so a lot of people do what I call the finger walk. They both work just as well. I find the finger walk, the finger walk is just a more uncomfortable way of holding the controller. So that's why I prefer the thumb slide, because it's the way I naturally hold the controller all the time. Now it looks like they're going quite slow. It's like, I've been doing this for a while and the numbers are quite slow, but it gets to a point where they duplicate, the numbers just grow so fast. So, don't worry about how long it seems to take. What is going on? Already we're on nearly 2,000 glass. And when you get up to numbers like this, ridiculously quickly, you're in tens of thousands. Now, what I will say is when you're actually crafting using these materials, keep an eye on how many you've got left all the time. And when you get down to a few thousand left, just go and duplicate them again. It's much easier to go and duplicate all this stuff when you've got a few thousand of them than going all the way back down to almost nothing without noticing, and then having to build it up again. One duplication from 2,000 and you've got 4,000 again. If you've gone down to a few, then you can't duplicate them loads of times to get up to about 4,000. So we're going to do, oh shit, I missed that. And it was the adhesive. It's so annoying when the one you miss is the one that's the lowest anyway. So adhesive is only 128, so I keep missing it. Now, obviously, while you're doing this, you can duplicate other stuff as well, not just what you need for leveling up. But, think of things that you're going to need, like wood for building, maybe. Anything that you think you're going to need a lot of. Those circuits, the circuitry, you need that quite a bit, and it's actually quite rare in the game. So that's a useful thing to be duplicating. And, you might as well do all the things that you need in one go. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to focus on the stuff that we actually need to duplicate. Look at when they'll drop in one little time. Oh, got some glass over there. Look how long that's been there. Oops. So I've got enough of everything now. I'm just going to do the adhesive on its own. You can keep on going and do this until you have like tens of thousands. When the numbers get really high, sometimes it just glitches out and all of a sudden you go down to about 2, which is incredibly frustrating. So if that happens, you got to start again. So yeah, that's annoying as hell. I'm just going to do this one and then we'll call it a day. So, oops, I'm going to do it like that, am I? Okay, done. So what we need to do now is pop down the street. And we need to go into this house here. And go around the back. We need this. So I'm actually going to take it back up here. Build something that requires power. Yeah, I have. I built something ages ago that required power. How ridiculous. I'm going to pop this here. So I'm going to put it next to this bed. Which side do you stand? It's this side, isn't it? I think. Okay, so let's have a quick look at my Pip-Boy. Oh, it's not opening. Come on. Sometimes it just doesn't open. No. Okay, there we go. I've only got one perk that I can take, so I'm going to take Night Person. So +2 intelligence and perception between the hours of 6 and 6. So I'm going to take that as my one perk. Now I want to make sure it's after 6. So this is why I want to pop this next to. This is why I wanted to pop this next to the bed, because I need it to be after 6 PM. Because that's going to give me an extra 2 intelligence, which is going to give me slightly more XP. Was that? Oh, yes, it was. Slightly more XP. So you'll see now, if I go and look at my stats, my intelligence is 22, because I've got that little perk. And I can get that a tiny bit higher as well. Perception doesn't really do anything. So now, we're going to go down to Grenade, and we're going to craft Molotov cocktail. So you'll see we've got adhesive cloth, glass and oil. It takes 4 oil, so that's the one that goes down quickly. You can see adhesive as well. It takes 2 adhesives, so I can make 1,000 of these, and then I'm going to have run out of adhesives. So what I would probably do is go and just duplicate the adhesive a couple of times now to get it up to, if I do it once it's 4,000, again it's 8,000, and then I can make loads more without having to think about it. But I'm just going to bang a couple of these out first anyway. So all you're going to be doing is thumping the A button. Now, if you're as old as I am, I remember going to arcades back in the 80s when you was a little kid, playing on Daley Thompson's Decathlon. There was a thing that some kids could do and some kids couldn't, where you kind of tensed your finger and it sort of vibrated really fast, and you could beat everybody on those games. I could do that, so I was one of those people that everyone was jealous of. I could vibrate my fingers and get awesome speed on Daley Thompson's Decathlon. So if you're the person that can do that, and even if you know what I'm talking about, and you must be at least in your 40s, then that same technique is what you want to be doing here, just thumping the A button over and over and over again, crafting these Molotov cocktails. If you can't do that, then it's going to take you a little bit longer. If you've got a little brother or a little sister or kids, and they want to earn some extra pocket money, then get them to sit down and bang this button. I'm just going to let that catch up. See what level we've got to. So we're now on level 8. So we was on level, I think, 2 or something. We're now on level 8 really, really quickly. So I think I can now get the idiot savant perk very reluctantly because it's really stupid, annoying noise. Although I have got my volume quite low. So in luck, this one here. Yes, so we can get that, and this gives us 3 times the XP every now and then. So we need to be level 11 before we can get the extra perk on there. We need to be level 25 before we get the extra one on here. But as soon as you hit level 11, and then when you hit level 25, make sure you get those next 2. You don't really need to do anything else on that. So let's go back down to grenades, carry on crafting for a bit longer. In fact, I'm going to go and duplicate that adhesive, and I'm also going to do, let's see, I'm going to do the adhesive and the oil a couple of times, just while my XP catches up, because I want my XP to be fixed, so I can see how much I'm getting from each one of these. So I'm just going to pop over here, and also at the wrong time of day now it looks. Oh no, I was 6 PM, wasn't I? It's just nice and sunny. So I'm going to duplicate the adhesive, and I'm going to duplicate the oil just a couple of times, just so I can absolutely make sure that I'm definitely not going to get low on any of these and then have to do a lot more duplication. You see, you might have noticed there that I've just leveled up again. So it does take a while to catch up with you when you're thumping that button. You end up getting XP for a good few minutes, well not a few minutes, but a good few seconds after you've stopped. So it's pretty awesome. Now we just reached another level, level 9 that was, sorry. So adhesive and oil. But this is going to be enough, so I'm just going to do them this one more time. Yeah, as I say, keep an eye on it. Oops. And if it looks like, I mean, I wasn't getting low, but it's getting to a point where if you did start to duplicate, you'd have to duplicate a lot more times to get a lot of it. So you don't want to do that. Okay, here, and sometimes when it's catching up with you saying you're leveling up, it keeps saying the same level over and over again. I'm not sure why that happens. It just said level 9 twice, so let's see what this happens when this reaches the top. So it did, it said level 9 again there. I'm not sure why it does that, or how to stop it doing that, but I'm just going to let it catch up with me. Okay, so I wanted to see how much XP we're getting. So now I'm going to craft a Molotov cocktail, and we'll see what XP we get. So we get 18. Now obviously, when we've got those extra perks, we're going to get a little bit more. Another way that you can level up is by crafting the copper statues. You can't actually craft a copper statue until you're a little bit further in the game. The place where you get the family sword, that's where you get the book for the copper statue. And then you can duplicate copper, just the same way I've been showing you to duplicate things on here. Let's make sure this goes to 10. Yes, it did. And then you can duplicate those, and it gives you more XP. I kind of don't like that method. First of all, you can't do it right in Sanctuary at the beginning of the game because you need the book. So, that slows things down. But also, it's really annoying completely filling Sanctuary with copper statues, which are completely useless. I mean, these Molotov cocktails, they're useful. When you actually start the game, you can go and kill the Deathclaw with them and things like that, so they're handy. And putting statues everywhere and having to delete them, that's just annoying. And, I mean, you get a tiny bit more XP, so it's a little bit quicker, but you do have to walk around deleting statues. I don't have to walk around deleting Molotov cocktails. So maybe this way is actually quicker. I can make a hell of a lot of these in the time where someone's walking around deleting things. So now we're at level 12. We can actually get the next perk. So pop into here, and we're going for the next Idiot Savant, which gives us 5 times XP. Now the next one of these is pointless because it's to do with kills, so we don't need any more of that. The only other thing that really benefits us is the second night person, which will give us, where is it? +3 intelligence between 6 and 6. So that's level 25. So we want to craft some more until we hit level 25. So yeah, I don't really think the copper statues is a good way of doing this. I think this is a lot better. The Molotov cocktails are slightly less XP, but when you do the special book duplication glitch and you've got your intelligence up to 20, and then you use the perks to get it up to 23, and if you did manage to get the lab coat, it's kind of luck of the draw on that one, you're going to be on 25. And if you manage to find anything else that increases your intelligence, like a hat or some glasses or something, then that's going to be taking you even higher. I'm pretty sure the XP you're getting with all those bonuses is better than the XP you'd get from the copper statues if you're not doing those bonuses. So, I mean, you're going pretty damn quickly. And as you can see now, it's not taking long at all. I'm actually hitting the button quite slowly now because I'm not sure what causes that weird glitch where it says, hey, you're level 9, hey, you're level 9 again, hey, you're level 9 again. I'm not sure what causes that. So I don't want to go too fast, just in case what causes it is going too quickly. So I think this is going to be 13, maybe 14, 15. So level 15. So we need 10 more levels before we can get that additional night person. So yeah, as I say, if you've got a little brother or a little sister and they want to earn some pocket money, then give them some cash, get them to sit there pressing this button for a few hours. Now obviously you can do this for as long as you like, to get to as high level as you like. I think a good stopping point is when you have got all the perks. I'm not sure what level you need to be to do that. I think it's level 144, but I think when I calculated that, I might not have taken into account duplicating your special book to fill out the stats at the top. So obviously you don't have to spend any of your points from when you level up on any of the main stats at the top, like your strength, your intelligence, and all those things, because you've done all those with your special book. You only need to spend your perks on the rest. So obviously in that situation it's not going to be quite so high, so it's going to be lower than 144. But yeah, it's a good place to stop. Oh my goodness, my coffee is now undrinkable. So I'm going to thump the button for a bit, and then I'm going to go and grab some coffee, and hopefully by the time I come back the XP will still be going up, so I won't have missed out any time. So there we go, I'm just going to go and refill my coffee and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, maybe this 3 cups of caffeine that I've just drank, I'm still getting XP. Maybe these are going to help me to press the button a little bit faster. I'm going to let this stop and see where we end up. I'm not sure what level we're on, 16, 17, somewhere around there, maybe, I'm not sure. So we are on 19, so still another 6 levels to go before we can get that additional perk. Oh, it's going slow. When it starts to go slow like that, just exit out to where it says grenade, and then go back in, and it speeds up again. So it does happen, it starts to lag a little bit, so just whiz out, whiz back in. And as I said before, as you're doing this, just keep an eye on your levels of adhesive cloth, glass, and oil. I mean, you can see on mine there, I've got loads. The first one that's going to run out, is adhesive, but I don't think I'm going to need to craft 2,500 Molotov cocktails to be able to get to a decent level, so I don't have to worry about my adhesive levels. But if it got down to about 2,000, then I'll just go and duplicate it a couple of times. Because as I said before, it's much easier to duplicate something when it's still high than it is to let it go down lower and then have to duplicate it several times. The other thing, of course, that you do need to be aware of is the time of day. Making sure that you do stay between 6 PM and 6 AM. So keep one eye on the sky. If it starts to look like it's getting light, then just go to sleep until 6 PM and then get up again and wake up again, because after level 25 you've got that additional 3 points on your intelligence, which is awesome, so you're getting bonus XP for that. It's a real shame that we didn't get a lab coat. So what I did just before I mean this is a save just before the exit of the vault, just so I had the opportunity to change my character's appearance and their name and all that kind of stuff. I always have a save just there. But what I did when I loaded up that save, the first thing I did is went all around the vault looking for a lab coat to see if there was one there, and there wasn't, which was so frustrating. Now, the other thing that's very important, of course, is that hot plate. So when you're doing this, make sure when you're in the vault to have a good look around for a hot plate, because you really need 2 circuitry. That contains 2 circuitry, and I'm not sure that you can get circuitry from anything else at this level in the game. Obviously, when you've got the scrapper perk, it's a little bit different. The second level of the scrapper perk is the one that enables you to get circuitry out of things where you wouldn't normally get it. So you do need a hot plate. I did, before I started recording the video, I went all around Sanctuary looking for a hot plate and I couldn't find one. I don't know whether they're a random drop or whether they're sometimes not. I'm sure, absolutely sure, that I've had one several times just on the floor here near my workshop. I'm sure there's been one just knocking around on the floor there. So that is, it's not essential, but the circuitry is for the vacuum hopper. And if you're going to be duplicating your special book by using the conveyor belt in a big circle, which is much, much, much easier and much faster, then you need that vacuum hopper. I think that's level 25. So what we want to do now, get in the pit boy, and are we level 25? Yes. Oh no, I must be level, 23. Sorry, I really thought I was higher than that. So I'm on 23. Let's let this catch up. Oh, it's doing the thing again. So this is why I thought I was 25, because I've hit 23 a few times. So yeah, I have no idea why that happens. It might be, after a certain amount of XP, the additional stuff that's happening now doesn't go. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to sleep for an hour and see whether or not that makes any difference. No, it's still 23. So yeah, I'm not sure why that happens, but it's frustrating because obviously it's just said level 23 about 4 or 5 times, whereas really that should have knocked us up to a much higher level. So there is a glitch in this. So maybe you don't want to be thumping the button too aggressively. Just do it casually, let it catch up with you, and let it level you up. So I'm going to wait until it stops. And then once it's stopped, then I'm going to start crafting them again, and I'm going to just do it at a casual speed, and I'm going to let it catch up. I've never noticed that before. I don't know whether that is something that has always happened or a more recent thing. I imagine it always happened, but I wonder if. Right, it says I've got 19 perks. So let's see when it goes through it again, and see whether it gives me an additional perk, even though it's not allowing me to level up, because that would be pretty cool. That would be quite useful. Ah, it didn't do it. So if it does that again, we'll check and see if that happens. Oops. There we go. Because that would be interesting. If it gives you the perk but not the level, then at least we're getting something. It's not that useful. I'd rather get the level and the perk. So now it's level 24. So I mean, we don't want to go too crazy on this. It seems that when you've gone too far ahead and it has to catch up with you, it seems that penalises you and the level doesn't work. So, as I say, I'd never noticed that before. I assume that's something that's always been there. With Bethesda, they really don't tend to get rid of these glitches, and it would be a very weird way of getting rid of the glitch if they did that. So I think most of the things, once they're there, and they don't change them. Especially with the duplication, I really believe that Bethesda know that the duplication glitch is there, and they're leaving it there because a lot of people, myself included, tend to play on Fallout a lot more simply because we can duplicate things and then we can build, unlimited settlements. So now we are definitely at 25. We want to get that second perk on the Night Person. So the next perk on Night Person is an extra health, which is useless to us. So that, we've got as much as we can get from that, we don't need any more. And we've got as much as we can get from this, we don't need any more. I'm pretty certain that nothing else benefits us at all. Let me just have a look through the look, just to make sure. So, no, I'm pretty sure that none of this actually benefits us. No, it doesn't, and I'm certain that none of this does. In fact, I'm certain that everything does. What's going to be useful is the scrapper, because the second level of the scrapper, this one, as it says there, it allows you to scrap things like circuitry. So that's a useful thing. So if you didn't get those circuitry things that would have been very useful to you, I'm just going to go and have a look here and see. Oh God, I can't walk. Let me just drop these Molotov cocktails just so I can walk. I'm just going to drop them on the floor. I'm just going to go and check to see whether the radios or the TVs give you circuitry when you have only rubber. I'm pretty sure you can't make a radio just from rubber, so that's useless. And where's the TV? I thought there was one in this corner. Is it in here? I wonder if there's a lab coat inside there. Very much doubt it. I haven't got a lockpick, have I? Oh no, it's just some military fatigues. There's a TV in here, so let's see if this TV gives us circuitry. Where's it gone? Over there. Wood and steel. No, I really thought that one of these things actually did give you circuitry. What about a fridge? No. So maybe only the cooker? No. Anything? The circuitry is going to be the problem. Unless you can find a hot plate, I really don't know what else. Maybe a lampshade? Glass and copper. I don't know what else will give you circuitry apart from the hot plate. So if you can't find a hot plate, then that could be a problem. That gives you radiation. Nuclear material, that's really useful, the nuclear material. So the glass radius game is pretty cool because nuclear material is very useful for your weapon mods later. You can duplicate this book. I don't think it really benefits you if you do. I wonder if it will give me... it's plus 5 melee damage. So yeah, you can duplicate this with the duplication glitch that we used earlier. I don't think it gives you any additional benefit though, each time you pick it up. Could be a thing worth checking. I might check that a little later. I'll keep it on me, and when I've finished levelling up my character, get away. I'll have a look. What time is it? I've got ages. So a few more of these. So yeah, circuitry. Might have a little look online, see what gives circuitry, and where those items are in Sanctuary, because that's very important. So we do know the hot plate gives you circuitry, not sure about anything else. But as I say, that's just for the hopper. You don't need it for anything else, just for the vacuum hopper. And I mean, that's not essential, but it's very, very useful. Now, if you can't build the hopper, I would still recommend building like a bit of a loop. Just build the loop up to the point where you would normally put the hopper in and leave a space. Because when you've got quite a few books, you can just run around the conveyor and drop them one at a time on the conveyor, so there's a little gap between them all, and then run back to the conveyor storage entrance and pick them up as they go in. And that way is much, much easier than just standing still, dropping one of them and keep spinning round. So even if you don't have the hopper, still build like an actual conveyor belt loop. Turn around, drop them on the loop, turn back around, and then wait for them to come round. What am I on now? About 26? So I'll do this up to 30. And then just before I close out this video, we'll have a look at that book. Now, as I say, it does definitely duplicate them. I'm not sure whether you get the perk, but if you wanted to have a display of lots of magazines, then you could duplicate the magazine very, very easily, and you can do that. So, I mean, all of these, your special books, I could build a display for them and put them all in it to fill it up. If I wanted to do that, if I wanted to look like I had a shop selling your special books. So, I mean, that's possible. But we'll see if we get any extra perks from this, this magazine that we've just picked up. So I think I'm on about 26 or 27 now. I'm pressing the button much more slowly. because I don't want to have that glitch where it keeps saying, hey, you're level 27, hey, you're level 27, hey, guess what, you're level 27. So I don't want that again. I've got my TV turned down, so I'm not sure whether or not it's picking up the sound, but I can hear it, and the idiot savant is so stupid. And I know there is a mod that can remove that sound, so once I've done this, if I'm then playing the game, I do take that mod just to get rid of that ridiculous sound. Let's see what we are when this finishes. I've been pressing it quite slowly, so I'm not going to get much additional XP. Not sure if it even will reach the next level. Nah, we have. So 28. So let's get myself up to... Oh, it's going really, really slow. So it's back out. Just go back in again. Let's get up to 30. I think probably the best way to do this is to go a little bit crazy on the button, like I am now, and then just have a rest. Have a sip of your coffee, watch the XP go up, and then when it stops, go crazy on the button again. That's 29. So I'm going to let this one. See where this takes us. I mean, you want to have maybe a look around Sanctuary to see whether or not you can find anything else that gives you some specs. What's probably a good idea is right at the beginning, when you make it to Sanctuary, just go around and scrap everything. And then when you go over to your workshop, you'll probably have more than enough gears, more than enough... I mean, there is another fan somewhere. I can't remember where it is, but there's definitely another fan. I think it's on the house that's next to yours going down the hill. I think it's in there. So it's certainly worthwhile having a little move around Sanctuary, clearing up a few things, and you might find a lab coat. You might find some glasses or a hat that's going to give you additional intelligence, and also obviously at the same time, you're going to be, you're going to be finding adhesive, cloth, glass, oil, and all those things that were necessary to build the conveyor belt just lying around, and then when you do go to duplicate them, there's a good chance that you'll have more than 8 of all of those individual items straight away. So then you can duplicate them and pick them up and drop them into one stack, which is much, much easier. So let's exit this workstation. What I want to do now is just have a little nap until it's daytime. And hopefully, as well, it will be a nice day because it's raining at the minute. Once I've done this, I'm going to drop off my Molotov cocktails because they're stopping me from running. Ah, beautiful. A nice day. I'll pop these in here. In fact, I'm going to put everything here apart from this magazine. Pop those in. Well, that's it. That's all I had. Then I'm going to pop over to this. I really wish I'd turned this off. So let's turn that one off. What that's going to do is kind of put that in the way. Let's move that out of the way. Now that this is off, it's going to gather the books up. There'll be one here. There's always one here, and there'll also be one in the hopper. That always happens. But the rest of them that are going around, already done. So they're all in here. So I'll take all of those just to get rid of them. I'm going to drop all of these on the floor. Some of these will have attribute points in them, but they're not going to do me any good because I'm already fully maxed out. So they don't benefit me at all. What I'm going to do now is just duplicate at least one of these books. So, oops, I always press the wrong button when I try and drop it. So yeah, that sounds like I got it straight away. So awesome. So did that do anything? What I should have done is checked my stats. So let's have a look. where is this? Where does it tell you? In my perks. So, idiot, savant, night person, scrapper, well rested, barbarian. So critical hits with unarmed melee do +5. I've got 1 star on that. So let's drop these books on the floor. Pick them up. And drop them again. I'm going to do this a few times. And I'm going to do it again. Oops. And I don't think it will have done anything, but let's just see. So now it's still +5, so it didn't give us any additional stars from that magazine. We've got the idiot savant, we've got the night person, we've got the scrapper, and the well rested. Look at that, well rested. I forgot about well rested. You've had great sleep, you feel alert, you get plus 10% XP for a limited time. So yeah, make sure you're well rested. So have a little nap every now and again to get that additional 10%. I forgot about that. Obviously, Lover's Embrace. If you had a companion that you got to the top level, that really benefits you quite a lot as well. Not sure how it affects XP, but it certainly gives you some bonuses. But obviously, at this stage of the game, that's not really going to do anything at all because we don't have a companion. So that is how you get your stats very, very high. Where are we? Special points, 16, 17, 20, 15, 20, 14 and 19. I'm pretty sure that's as high as you can get these. Then of course, if it's night time, we have an additional 3 intelligence from the night person perk as soon as you hit level 25. And of course, if you have the lab coat, you have an additional 2, so that will take you to 25. I think one of the hats gives you +1 intelligence. And I'm pretty sure that some of the glasses give you +1 as well. I know some of them give you charisma or perception. The sunglasses give you charisma. The normal specs give you perception. I'm not sure if some of them give you intelligence or not. But if you can have a rummage around in Sanctuary and find things that do give you bonuses, then that's going to be awesome for you. See my scarred face there. So that's a bit mean to this character. So there we go. I could stay here for another half an hour making Molotov cocktails and getting up to level 40 or whatever. Let's have a look how many perks. We have another 23 in here. So, I can unlock quite a lot of these, but obviously not them all. It's a lot more than 23. So if you want to carry on doing this until you have maxed out all of these things, then that's going to take you a little bit longer, but it's certainly possible to do. That's health. Science. I'm maxing out the science so that we can have that. The better generator is very important. So none of these are anything that are really going to benefit our leveling up at this stage in the game. But, of course, all of these are beneficial to you in other areas. And it's a real shame about the scrapper. So where is it? Get more from salvaging. Now, that's useful, but we need level 40 from that. So, yeah, it's a shame that when we did the scrapper, I was really expecting to get circuitry out of the TV, and I was expecting to get it out of the radios. It's absolutely stupid that a radio only gives you rubber, like you can make a radio from rubber. And also the telly as well, that was wood and whatever else it was. Again, very silly. You should have got circuitry from both of those. So yeah, I'm not sure where you can get circuitry from, but once I've finished this video and I've uploaded it, I'm going to have a little look and see where you can get circuitry from. I'll just do a search on Google and I'll pop that in the description just to let you know in case you can't get that hot plate. Or I'll see if I can find a location where there's definitely a hot plate. As I said before, there is, I'm not sure if I picked it up or not, but in the house, I think it's this one, and I also think that I scrapped it already, but inside here, I'm sure there was a desk fan, maybe on top of there. I'm not sure, I can't quite remember, but I'm sure there's a desk fan somewhere in here, so that gives you a couple of extra gears, which are useful. I mean, they give, oh, there it is, look. So there's that there for a couple of extra gears, so that's always useful because gears are quite scarce. So there's always this one here, and there's always the one that's right next to your workshop. So those two are going to give you, I think, 3 or 4 gears each. 2 gears each. So that's 4 gears just from those two. You've also got you've also got the adjustable wrench, which is on the wall. So that gives you an additional 1. So that's 7. And there's a good chance that you might have picked up something else as well. So those are very, very useful to save you. There's oil in that can there as well. Oh, I haven't killed these ones. So yeah, you can get some additional stuff if you go around first of all. So it's going to be a good idea just to have a run around Sanctuary, scrapping things. What do they give you? I'm imagining nothing very useful. Steel and springs. Can I scrap this? No. I can if I've got mods. So yeah, have a wander around Sanctuary first, and then once you've done that, you'll probably have enough stuff from having a look around. That computer as well, that doesn't give you anything. It doesn't scrap. It's kind of attached to the desk, so you can't scrap it just on its own, which is very annoying. So I was kind of expecting we might get circuitry from that. I don't know whether this little bomb thing on here, can we scrap this just by itself? No, we can't. We can scrap the safe, which puts the contents of the safe inside your workshop, which is a bit cheeky, I think. So obviously there's nothing in that house there. What is there inside this bin? I seem to remember there's something useful inside here. Oh, Jesus. Oh, it's a grenade. Go away. Let's have a little look in here. Dinner tray. Now, you think some people have a hot plate in their kitchen. No. The fridge doesn't give you really anything. The cooker doesn't give you anything. That radio, rubber. How ridiculous. What was that thing on the floor? Yeah, what's that? Oh, it's nothing. So yeah, I mean, the problem that you might stumble into is going to be the circuitry. You can't get it from these, can you? Broken light bulb fuels, no. So, I mean, they're useful for copper because you get that out of the fuses. But I don't think there's a guaranteed hot plate anywhere. So make sure that you pick one up from the vault. So I'm pretty sure that's where I got mine from because I had one on me. You do need some ceramic, but there's plenty of that. I had a hot plate on me. But also, I'm absolutely positive that I've seen a hot plate just knocking around on the floor here before. So, I mean, that's also a possibility. Thousands of Molotov cocktails there. I hate this little bit of rubbish just here. There's a lot of good stuff in there, look. So vacuum tubes, all sorts of things. An oil can. Let's get rid of that. Can't think of anything else that might have circuitry in it. I can, a fridge, a cooker, a TV, a radio. I'm pretty sure all of those things need circuitry in them, but unfortunately this Fallout 4 isn't very realistic. I did have a mod once that when you scrapped things, it gave you much more realistic materials from them. So you tended to get a lot more when you were scrapping stuff. And the mod was law-friendly. It was much more realistic. Steel and wood. That's all it takes to build a television, steel and wood. It was more realistic, but I was just kind of getting way too much stuff, and it made the game a little bit too easy. So I stopped using that mod. I mean, I know I do use hacks and things, but I wanted to play a more realistic version, which is why I got the mod. And then when I did, it just seemed to make it a little bit too easy. We're really not having a great deal of luck on this circuitry, are we? So, weed whacker. Just that having it. Steel and screws. See, I think I'm going to fail you here. I don't think I'm going to find... I did have a look around before I started recording the video, as I say, but I just wanted to make sure I hadn't missed anything. Oh no, that botfly is completely blind. Oh no, there we go, it's seeing me. Oh, Jesus. So yeah, I did have a look around, I couldn't find anything, but I just thought I'd have a quick look before I end the video to see whether or not there might be a hot plate knocking around or something that I hadn't considered checking. I obviously haven't been in here because, although I did run into some places and then just have a quick look and run back out again. I think I only checked the kitchens. I don't think I checked anywhere other than the kitchens because I was really just looking for hot plates. Yeah, obviously the couches, the mats on the floor and all that stuff give you cloth. That's one of the things that you need, so you can get a hell of a lot of cloth before you start duplicating, which is useful. Adhesive in duct tape, so scrap some duct tape if you see some knocking around. I think that's it, isn't it? So I'm back to my own home now. So yeah, we failed on the hot plate. A little look in the garden. Pretty sure there's nothing out here. So no, the hot plate. So that you need that to circuitry, and yeah, if you get one of those before you leave the vault, then make sure you do so. And also have a good hunt around for the lab coat. I know you can get a lab coat from the vault. I've had one from there before, and but I really don't know. I'm going to see what this thing here. What does this give us? So yeah, I know that you can get the lab coat in the vault. It's not always there. It's a bit of a random drop. But I can't remember exactly where it is, but I've had the lab coat from the vault a few times. So it's just luck in that situation. What does this give us? Agility. That's not really that much use. This gives us, I think, it's better than what I've got. So there we go. So there we go, guys. I could stay here making more Molotov cocktails and get up to whatever level. But I'm pretty sure you get the idea now, you get the gist, you just need to craft them, and that's what there is to it. And I mean, this thing here, so easy to duplicate those special books when you're standing there just clicking on them as they go in. Not really anything else I need to tell you, but please do leave a like, share, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Read the more information section, because before I upload this video, I'm going to have a look in there and see where we can get some additional circuitry from early on in the game, and if I find a place, I'll go and check it out and make sure. Then I'll leave a note in the more information section to let you know what that is. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you find it very, very useful, and I also hope that you enjoy playing with your high leveled character that's got above max stats. So before we even spoke to Codsworth. And of course you can go as high as you like. I wonder if he knows my name. I've not had this name before. Let's just turn it up a little bit. No, he doesn't, does he? He would have said it already. So,
Codsworth, what happened? The world.
Yeah, he calls me Mum. So, yeah, go away. He doesn't know the name Elise, obviously. He knows quite a few. I use the name Jane quite often. He knows that. I imagine there's a list somewhere. Excuse me. I imagine there's a list somewhere that tells you all the names that he knows. But it's nice when he calls you by name. So I like that. So I might focus on making characters in the future that only has names that are in Codsworth vocabulary. But obviously not Elise. So that's all from me, guys. You take care. Have a wonderful evening. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if there are any specific videos that you'd like me to make, if you'd like to see something in Fallout or any other game, then please do let me know. So I'll see you all soon. Take care, and bye-bye. Hi again, I've just added this video onto the end for you because I found some circuitry. I ran down to the Red Rocket truck stop and we have guaranteed circuitry in here. A couple of things as well in here is this fan, that's always there, so you want to scrap that to get the gears if you're going to come down here. There's also an adjustable wrench on here, a couple more gears, and through here is a telephone. Didn't even think about these. So yeah, a telephone is to circuitry. So you want to scrap that to get those circuitry. There are a couple of telephones outside, the big dome ones. They don't give you any circuitry, but at least we now know that you can get them there. And there's also this hot plate underneath the coffee. So a guaranteed 4 circuitry in the, what's the coffee pot? A guaranteed 4 circuitry down here in Red Rocket. So you can get those. This toaster doesn't really give you anything, and neither does the ham. Oh, you can't actually scrap the ham radio. And there's no more telephones or anything like that in here. But there we go. So there's a hot plate, which is underneath this coffee pot. And there is also a telephone, which is on this counter. So, of course, once you've got those, make sure that you go over to your workshop and you transfer those out of the workshop, the circuitry, and the gears, and I mean anything that you are going to need, and take it back up to the sanctuary before you start crafting everything. So yeah, we do have a guaranteed place where you can be confident that you are going to get some extra gears on the top of here and also on the top of there, and also you're going to get 4 circuitry from the telephone and also from the hot plate. Now, circuitry is quite rare in the game, and it's very useful later on in the game when you're building more advanced things. So make sure you duplicate that, and when you're building your vacuum hopper, it only uses 2, so you're going to be quite safe. But I would also make sure that you've always got some on reserve, just so you don't accidentally use it all, and then have to go through the struggle of trying to find some more. So that was all I could find. Hi dog meat, I haven't spoken to him yet. You are useless at duplicating, but hello. So there we go, that's where you get circuitry from and a couple of extra gears. So it's worth just running down here, it's not very far, if you didn't manage to get that extra circuitry. If you did get the circuitry, then just duplicate it in Sanctuary, because it's going to be a lot quicker to duplicate it a few times up there than it is to run down to here. So there we go, I'm glad that I've managed to find a place for you where circuitry is guaranteed, because I wasn't sure where I'd got that hot plate from. I must have picked it up in the vault. So you take care, have a wonderful evening, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.